Okay, I'm going to need a volunteer. Don't rush at once. What's your name? Grantley?
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Grantley. Just win yourself £10. Take a seat.
Thank you very much.
Come on. Give Hal a round of applause, please. Okay. Does anyone study business here at all? Study business? Do you know what one of the biggest things in business is? Providing something? No? Value. So just stand up with you again. And just win yourself a book.
Oh, thank you very much.
Another round of applause. So my question to you is, why didn't you take action? There were so many thoughts going through your head about what's this guy going to get me to do? What crazy things is he going to get me to do? And you'll see there's a monkey, there's a chimp. And has anyone read The Chimp Paradox? Yeah? Raise your hands. Great stuff. So this chimp is a voice inside our heads, and it stops us from taking action to keep us comfortable, keep us safe. And the only problem with that is that mindset was good for us back in the Stone Age when tigers are after us and dinosaurs are trying to eat us. But now those things don't exist. But what things do exist is like business and investing and scary things to do with finance. And the chimp will remain us in the same comfort zone unless we don't pay attention to it. Okay, and it's quite a hard term to grasp. But as soon as we stop thinking of all the things that can go wrong with investing, within life, and start thinking of all the things that can go right, then our happiness, our success, and our standard of living will be much better. You might be thinking, who's Alex Seery? Who's this crazy guy speaking about mindset and so forth? So I'll get these pictures up. So I knew nothing about property a year ago, and my background started pretty rough. I was raised in a broken family. My dad left at 10 years old, and to this day I don't think I've seen him about 11 years. And as I was growing up, my relationship with my mother got really bad, where I was having suicidal thoughts, to which I think at 21 I got kicked out of my house, very depressed and very kind of down on my luck. What I did was search for a solution, and I searched on Google, and a book came up, Think and Grow Rich, and I read that book cover to cover, and from that moment on my life changed, and what it was doing was developing my mindset to make me realize that my thoughts are everything. My thoughts are either going to make me succeed or fail. So once I left home and started to develop more my mindset, reading more and more books, I started developing into the gym. So I became a fitness model, an underwear model, and before I was a very, very skinny guy and a bit of a gut on me, but I developed my mindset enough to go into the gym and start training and working on my health, because I think that's really important. And then I joined Nottinghamshire Police as a special constable first, and then moved into custody as a detention officer. Something I do enjoy. I'm still there currently because me and my partner are still looking for our own house to buy. So lenders like you to have jobs before you take the plunge. So I joined Mastermind with no experience and no money. I met Mark on the Mastermind Accelerator first, a 3-day event, which is phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. And on the last day was crunch time to sign up for the year course, and it's an expensive course. The return on investment you get is amazing because it gives you the success and the tools you need to succeed. But on that day, the last day, and it was crunch time, I signed the paperwork, which was to pay the fee. And even though the money didn't leave my bank account, it shook me so much, and I knew I'd burned my bridges, and I had to succeed, that I threw up. I threw up, I ran to the toilet and threw up. My partner was like, oh my God, are you okay? But that was the kind of shock it gave me, to give me a kick up the bum and start taking things a bit more seriously, and to try to go after my goal more in chasing financial independence. Met some incredible people on the way. That's my joint venture partner, Simon Platt, who has been a great support throughout my whole investing journey. We have 3 properties at the minute, and we're going for the 4th very shortly. Within my mastermind journey, I've been featured in YPM magazine. Has anyone read YPM magazine? Has anyone read my article, YPM? Okay, that's for you. Good stuff. And also a podcast for Inside Property Investing with Mike Stenhouse. Has anyone listened to that? For you? Okay. And I'm absolute honour for Simon Zucchi to offer me to become a coach and mentor for PIN. So I'll be training for that very soon, hopefully this year. This is one of my first deals. This is it's sentimental, so that's why I wanted to include it in tonight's talk. This is my first rent-to-rent deal, and this is a large 6-bed leasehold property right in the heart of Nottingham city centre, really. It's about 5 minutes away. It's close to transport links, so you've got trams, bus routes close by, you've got a taxi rank quite close by as well. It's sourced through landlord letters. So what I don't do is source properties that aren't HMOs already. And the reason for that is because it's too much capital to change it into a HMO, because you've got your regulations with regards to fire alarm, your emergency lighting equipment, your thumb turn locks, etc. And also Nottingham's an Article 4 area. So I can't change a normal property into a HMO because of Article 4, because I would need planning. And Nottingham were very strict on that, so I didn't want to waste time chasing something that might not happen. So what I did was source my properties through landlord letters that I sent to landlords that I knew were already HMOs, and I got that through the council list, the HMO council list that we can all get from the council. If they do start saying we're not going to give you that, if you request it under the Freedom of Information Act, then they'll be obliged to give it you. Okay. It was poorly managed. The reason for the landlords wanted to go with me on this is because they didn't know how to manage a HMO property. Their students' tenancy fell through, and they was going to have an empty property for a whole year, which was not good, because they had expenses coming out but no income going in. So they had to go with me. And it was for 3 years, but it's extended to 5. And what we did was sent a Christmas card out last year. And as soon as they got it, I texted them saying, how's things going? Do you mind if I call you? Asked them how my service was going. And I just asked the question, would you be interested in extending for 5, in which they happily agreed. The numbers on this, we spent £4,000 on it, with painting, a little bit of furniture, soft dressings, like a few curtains, carpet, rugs, etc. Minus the bills and insurance, which is about £435 for a 6-bed, which is quite good. And the landlord's fee, which we pay in £1,100, and that's every month. And the net profit from that is £10,950 per annum. The reason this is such a good deal is because once I started my property journey, we were spending a lot of money marketing every single month, and that can be quite expensive, sending out 800 or so letters to HMO landlords, especially as you're doing newspaper ads and postcards, etc. So this is really good. So from this day forward, once we start getting a cash flow, we use that just to fund the marketing. So we was actually investing it back into the business. And the return on investment on that is 273%, which we get our money back in the first 6 months or so, which is a really good deal. Second deal is a JV property that me and Simon, the picture you saw. This bed was a 4-bed property in a town called Hucknall, where I'm from, and this was a repossession. It was in a bad state. It was really in a mess, and we put an offer in of $89,950 originally. Got accepted, which was great, really good deal. But then when the lender and the surveyor went out, they wanted full retention on the property, meaning that they wouldn't lend on it without us doing some works. As this was a repossession, the asset managing company basically said you can't do that because we could devalue the property even more. I don't know how it was possible, because it was a big dump, but they wouldn't allow it. So as one of the strategies they teach us on Mastermind was exchange with a delay completion. We offered that, so we exchange with the money, and then we'll go inside, do the work, and then complete at a later date. Again, they wouldn't allow that. What they did allow for us to do was extend the time we was going to keep the property on the market so we could get a different lender. So what we did, we went with a different lender. It took about an extra 3-4 weeks, and I think the same week, we got a call from the estate agent, and someone beat us to our offer, which was frustrated. Simon was livid. So yeah, we basically secured it for 100,250 from 89,950. It's frustrating, but because it's such a good deal, and if the numbers still work, then why not? And I think that's a tip you should all take. If everyone tries to get the BMV deal, but if the numbers still stack, still go for it, because that's going to help you with your finances and your momentum investing in property. The purchase price is 100,250. The refurb cost of 50,000. We've drastically changed this. We put 4 en suites, a communal bathroom in, an unvented cylinder, a massive tank for hot water pressure, and really haven't skimped and scraped on this. We put orthopedic mattresses in, a really nice property. The total cash invested on this was 82,787, which is a lot of money, but you gain an equity in that. And what we've done, or are doing, should I say, is commercially remortgaging this, because it's got a HMO license now, so it's a business, and also because we've had significant changes within the property, we're able to get commercial lending on it. The net profit on this total is 1,638.91p. Split that between me and my JV partner, which is £819.46p, and per annum that's producing 9,833. Because it's commercial refinance, hopefully we'll pull all the money out and my investor is good to go again. And that's basically what we're doing on the 3rd and 4th properties. So we're just recycling our money and going again. Now, these are my mastermind results throughout the year, and from learning nothing about property, not knowing a thing about property, and nothing about DIY, because all I can do is change a light bulb. And I know I'm losing man points there, but let's go with it. I can't do DIY very well. I was able to gain 62,000 worth of, I'm going to say semi-passive income, because nothing's passive in life, you've really got to work at it. But that was my mastermind results, which is, as a detention officer, we come out with about 22 net. So that is a great income, so that me and my partner can leave our jobs and pursue other things that we want to pursue in life, and achieve the goals we want to achieve. Okay, so I want to talk about how to develop a winning mindset, and a mindset is really important, and I honestly believe that mindset will always come first and success will come later. And like I said, I developed and studied entrepreneurship, business, mindset, productivity, and communication rapport, everything to do with personal development. That's enabled me to succeed, I believe. Because when the hard times came, and they did come, and they will come for you who do invest, then you kind of push through it because your mindset is so strong. Okay, so just read personal development books daily. So how many of you read personal development books daily? Good stuff, quite a few. Okay, so at least 10 pages a day, in the morning if possible. And the reason for that is because your brain waves vibrate at a high frequency in the morning, so you want to get that in, and you take in more, and your subconscious will take in more. Drop the anchors out of your life. So I did have some anchors in my life who were very negative, and they said, oh, you shouldn't do that, or kind of, you can't do that, or very belittled. And one of them was my mother, who I'm thankful at the minute that I didn't listen to her advice, because it would have kept me where I was. So drop the anchors out of your life, because they will just weigh you down, really. Set goals and review daily. So who's written down their goals that they want to achieve? Okay, so I think it's very important that you do set your goals. I think it was Viktor Frankl who said, if mankind, and the ladies as well in the room, that if you don't set your goals, then the soul decays. Meaning that you have to strive for something, you have to search out and really go for something in life if you want to grow as an individual. So set your goals, write them down, make them, put a date stamp on them, so you know that you've got that kind of sense of urgency. Put it somewhere you're going to see every day. Mine's next to my bed, so I read that every day when I wake up and before I go to sleep at night. Cut out the news. So I'm guessing a lot of people read the news in here. Does a lot of people read the news? No. So there's only one. Okay, I'm sorry. Lack of faith. 2, 3, 4. With regards to the news, okay, it's very negative. We all know that, and it's entertaining because it's so negative. But the thing is with that is that you're taking in things about death, destruction, rape, murders, and all these things that you can't really help because they're all past tense, because they've always happened, and that's why you hear about them. And generally, people like to listen to the news because they can function in society. So when a topic of conversation happens about, for example, that's terrorists, then they can talk about that. And I just think it's really bad to have that outlook on the world, knowing that it's a bad place, how the economy is going to dip, how this has happened with property, and it'll always be out there, which is okay. But if you shut off to it, I promise you, your results will gain a lot more. So listen to audiobooks. I'm assuming a lot of you drive as well. If you add up all the time you drive throughout the day and throughout the months, throughout the years, you can gain a lot of knowledge on a particular area. And instead of listening to the radio and the news and your favourite jam, whatever that may be, listen to audiobooks, because that will help you as well develop the mindset that you need for property and business in general, and for the growth of your life. Use your time wisely. So I hear a lot of people who want to succeed in business, in finance, in property, and they say, I'm not getting the results I want. And I always ask, well, what's your schedule? What do you do in life, in your day? And they'll say, okay, well, I have 9 hours sleep, and I see friends on this day. I spend a bit of time on Facebook, and I do this and I do that. And I think they're not using their time correctly. When you compound all the time you have from stop watching TV, waking up an hour earlier, going to bed an hour later, not hanging around with friends as much. You still can, don't cut off your friends, unless they're anchors. And once that time's compounded, then you have a lot of time to do the things you can to succeed. Because you think about all the successful people in life, we all have the 24 hours in a day, and I'm sure you've all heard this before, but why do they succeed and others don't? And I think it's very crucial that you use your time wisely, just as they do. So you listen to motivational stories. I listen to Steve Jobs quite a bit, Bill Gates' story, Warren Buffett's, a lot of people from rags to riches, and it's helped me think that it is possible. Something with my own story of feeling depressed and suicidal, and gaining the knowledge and the mindset to kind of succeed in life and develop a finance that's able to give me the lifestyle I want. So listen to motivational stories, because that'll give you that extra boost of realising that it is possible. We all can do it. Exercise daily. So a lot of people, one of the questions that I get a lot is, I don't feel very energised, or I'm really tired all the time. My job's keeping me tired. The kids are keeping me tired. The wife's keeping me tired. All these things. Is the crucial thing to this is do more exercise, because that will give you more energy. I'm not talking you have to spend hours and hours in the gym. I'm talking 30 minutes in the morning, do some cardio while you listen to an audiobook, or your favourite music. Just get the blood flowing, so that, and once that's in your routine, you start to realise you have more energy, because you have that your body's adjusted to it. And when you go into landlord meetings, and when you're doing deals with estate agents, and when you're trying to raise finance, you're not tired, because you're more motivated to do it, because you've got that energy from the morning when you do exercise. So be careful where you take advice from. So a key example is this. I work in custody. It can be quite a negative place. And when I started my journey, a lady who I used to work with gave me some terrible advice. She doesn't invest in property at all. She went, don't do that, it's risky, you shouldn't do that. And I said to her, what is risky is being in a job till you're 62 years old that you're not passionate about, and being dictated by your boss or society into a kind of path of being mediocre. So I quite rightly told her, and if I want to be a pilot in life, I'm going to take advice from a pilot. If I want to be a football player, I'll probably take advice from a football player. If I'm going to be a property investor, I'm going to take advice from a property investor. So be careful who you take advice from, because a lot of negativity will go around from people who are not even doing the thing that you want to succeed in. Okay, so mix with other successful people, just like yourself. There's successful people all around this industry, and you just got to tap into it. And Mark was touching on getting Facebook and social media up and running, and that's a good thing to do, really. As long as you're not searching and being nosy, and you're actually having the purpose of going on there and speaking to people that you do want to generally build a connection with for a reason, so you can make a win-win, then I think that's a great tool to have. So mix with successful people, and hopefully you can help each other. So I just want to leave you with this. I just want everyone to raise your hand as high as you can. Okay. Seen this before. Okay, that's good. So raise it even higher. So, okay, take a seat. So, a few of you have seen this before, which is good. So, what I asked you to do was raise your hand as high as you can. Now, the first time was, this gentleman did it straight away, was to raise your hand as high as you can. You should have done it straight away. The second time you did it. And if we just do that from the beginning, every path we take when we're trying to achieve success and give that bit more effort, a bit more discipline, that stretch is only an inch. But that inch is all it takes to be successful, especially if we're trying to achieve a worthwhile goal that we really want to achieve. So I'm going to close you with this. A little bit of discipline, a little more effort, and what seemed a losing failure may turn into a spectacular success. I'm Alex Seery. Thank you very much. Okay, we've got some time for Q&A if everyone wants to ask me any questions at all, property related or mindset. Don't be shy.
Those pants you were wearing in that model picture, really?
Yes. Right. Yeah. I didn't mean any question like that. Yes, there were. Yeah. Thank you. Yep.
Are there any particular books you would recommend we read?
Yes, absolutely. So The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson.
Sorry, what was that?
Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. The Millionaire Fast Lane by M.J. DeMarco. I'm going to say Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I'm assuming a lot of you have read that. If you haven't, write it down. The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. Rich Dad Poor Dad 2, which is Cash Flow Quadrant, and The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. I think a lot of mindset on that, and I think it's really good that you start reading them ASAP. You got it?
Sorry, who was Success Principles by?
Jack Canfield. Really good books. Yep.
Can you go back to the deal where you ended up with the £82,000 and strip that out?
Which deal? The second deal? This one? Or the other one?
Back one. How did you get...
This one?
Forward one.
Forward one, sorry.
How did you get to 82,787?
Because what happened with the deposit, because we had to increase our offer, we had to put 10 extra grand into it. So the deposit was actually higher than 25%. Make sense? So
having refurbed,
yes.
you have increased the value?
Yes, we've increased the value on a commercial basis. So the commercial finance goes on the gross rental income.
Are you commercial?
Yeah, so commercial refinance. So it's different to bricks and mortar, okay? So bricks and mortar will go on the value of the house of bricks and mortar. Everyone gets that. Commercial remortgage is where they take the gross rental income, they times it by a multiplier. Each area is different, so you best speak to a broker what area they use in your, what multiplier they use in your area, and they times that by the gross rental income, and that will give the valuation of the house because it's a business. Okay, and what you've got to make significant changes with the house as well as your HMO license to have this. Okay, and that's what we did basically. We put 4 en-suites, communal bathroom, just fire alarm, the whole works really to make sure it looks like a business. Okay, yep.
For that first rent-to-rent, your first deal we did.
Yep.
Since you were new to property,
Yep.
just learning, did you work with someone more experienced on that one, or was your mindset
Yeah.
enough to get you?
Yeah, I think because I'd seen others do it well, I don't know if they've done it without any experience, but I've seen others do it and I knew it was achievable. So what I did, I just took action, massive action, and I think it was a 4th, 5th month before we actually heard anything. And this was the first responses we had. So I was absolutely cacking myself going into a meeting with these landlords. I was very scared. We all get fearful. But you know what? What's more important, staying fearful or going for the goal? And for me, it was the goal. I get really, it makes me feel ill if I don't go for something. So yeah, I worked on my own on this one, and it worked out terrific. The landlords are really nice people, and I was putting fears in my head that weren't really there. They handed over the keys over that table, and things came real fast for me, and that gave me momentum in investing in other properties going forward. I can use that as leverage, really.
It's out of interest, because I looked at the accelerator course as well, and Simon talks about doing all the marketing and things. It's something it's not an avenue I went down myself.
Yeah.
What sort of returns were you getting back in terms of actual deals coming to you based on doing that sort of advertising?
Responses.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the first 4 months, we didn't get any responses at all. It was horrible. So we're spending money from our wages. We spent a massive fee on Mastermind, and I was panicking. My partner was more grounded than me, but I'm like, ripping out my hair. We had about, through about 800, it was 500 first, then we went to 800, and I think with the 500 one, we had about three responses, one of which this came off the deal. But then if you think of the grand scheme, it's £10,950 per annum, and I think marketing was costing us about £500 per month. And I just think it's so worth it when you get that one deal. And a lot of people give up too soon. It's like, I was speaking to a gentleman before we started, is that you're sending marketing out every month. The landlord's circumstance, he might not need you right then. But then 4 months down the line, he might have an issue that, okay, I've got this letter now, I'll ring them. Because people look for solutions when they need them, okay? And you've got to be more patient with it. A lot of people market, and then give up at just the last hurdle, and they don't realise how close they are to getting that deal. And it's good for building brand awareness as well. So once you get letters every month through the door, you're building that rapport psychologically with your logo there and your signature there is very important, because that landlord's going to call you rather than anyone else. And sorry?
You've got to remain front of mind.
Yeah, that's right. So when they've got a problem, they're going to think of you. What we do, we handwrite the envelopes, every single one of them. So when the letters are coming through the post, I'm more inclined to pick up handwritten ones at my own house, and I'm sure you are too. And that's what happens with the landlords. And also, a wet signature on every single letter, just building that rapport and psychologically giving more personal value, really.
Are you still doing that as an approach? Do you continue to...
Yes. In fact, we had a call yesterday. A landlord's got 2 properties in an area called Lenton, and I'm assuming we couldn't really understand him. He's got a very strong Indian accent, so I'm meeting him next week to go through everything. But I think what the issue premise is, he's got an empty property. The student market is getting saturated, and my tenants are professionals, so I'm going to get professionals in there. I know it's a good area because I've got a property right around the corner from it. And that's what I'm going to do. And we've also taken on another 5-bed in another area of Nottinghamshire. And these are all from landlord letters, because they work really well. Yep.
Sorry, you said 4,500 per calendar month in marketing. Do you mean about 800 HMO landlord letters? That was the only form of marketing?
No, so the beginning of Mastermind, I went wild. I started sending landlord letters. I was in newspapers. Postcards, it was quite a lot we spent on. Another thing touched on that, landlord letters may not work in this area. Okay, I know people who in London, areas of London, landlord letters don't work at all, but postcards do. Okay, so you've got to change it and track what's working, track your KPIs, your key performance indicators, and know what's working in what area. Because landlords are working great for me, but they might not work great for you. So make sure you give it a good length of time. Not just to give up at 4 months, etc. Give it a good 8, maybe 9 months, and work on something else. Or if you've got the funding for it, send them all out there. Okay. Sure.
Did you put shower rooms in each room?
No, in the rent-to-rents, no. And the reason for that is because generally we want to put 7,000 maximum into a rent-to-rent. The reason for that is because it's the landlord's equity. So we don't want to splash out on so much, and just in case anything happens in the future, then we want to recoup our investment back in the first year. So the return on investment on every rent-to-rent deal has got to be at least 100%.
So how many bathrooms are there, and how long a lease do you have?
So that
Securing you with what you put in. How many years is the agreed to rent it for?
so on this one, it's 5 years. 5 years I've got the deal for. It's all written up legally by solicitors. And what was the other question? How many bathrooms? The general rule of thumb on every property, especially for professionals, is that you should have 1 bathroom, toilet, shower, wash basin, for 3 people. Okay. You start going over that, and there's professionals are working at the same times of the day. You're going to get a lot of complications going in the bathroom at the same time. Jim's spending half an hour in the bathroom, and it just gets very frustrating. And as you're self-managing, you don't really want that, really. So the general rule of thumb that I use is 3 to 1 bathroom. If they've got en suites, that's a bonus, so that wouldn't include that. Okay, so if it's a 5-bed, one's got an en suite, and the rest are using the bathroom, you don't really want that, because that's not something I would do, and that's the business model I stick to. Okay. Any more questions?
What's the strategy for you going forward?
The goal, or just?
Yeah, I mean, is it to keep doing rental rents, or is it HMO or other?
It's going to be HMOs for me, just something business model I know works. But I mean, we're on our 3rd JV. Hopefully, we're going on our 4th in about 3 months' time. So buying properties using other people's finance is something I'm doing, because I'm gaining the equity there, I'm gaining the wealth. Rent-to-rents, however, produce cash flow very quick. So I'll continue to do this, and the funding I get from all this is just start buying my own instead of JVing. So the minute is using other people's money, which is great, and building and building and building, but eventually I'm going to be, I mean, my overall goal is to be 100k worth of cash flow, and once I start getting that, I start buying properties on my own, so then basically all the profit's mine. Yep.
So at this point in time, are you still full-time employed?
Yeah, so I work for Nottinghamshire Police. The reason why we're employed is because we want to move out into our own home, and lenders, we've been into business about a year and a half, they won't take into consideration our business, no matter how good it's doing, because lenders like you to have jobs, a PAYE income.
So that makes sense.
Yep.
But you're also self-managing.
Yeah, self-managing.
So as you scale, presumably something has to give.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're going to be working.
That's right. So I'm quite fortunate, and I'm very entrepreneurship. So basically, have systems in place. I'm quite fortunate to work 4 days a week. So my shift pattern's 4 on, 4 off. And a lot of people call them rest days, I call them success days, and work on the business. But what I do with my portfolio is have systems in place. So we have key safes outside of each property and inside. So if a tenant, for example, has lost the key, it hasn't happened yet, but if we give them the code, they can get into the house and go into their room. Maintenance issues, they call the maintenance team go, use the key safe themselves, get in and fix the problem, then we get invoiced. Our tenant referencing system is all online. So we have no paperwork whatsoever, and that goes with the vetting and all the referencing and processing system with that. So we always have systems in place, and I honestly believe our own job now really is tenant viewings, and that's it. We have 2 voids in a minute, so it's really, once you have the systems in place and work like an entrepreneur instead of a landlord running around fixing things yourself, you're going to have that time anyway, with the income coming in, just because you've put some systems in place. We was in Barcelona in April, and the rents were coming in. We had no issues, but we were safe in knowing that we could conduct a viewing whilst we was on holiday, and we can conduct, if there was an issue with maintenance, it's all been sorted because its systems are in place. You need that as an entrepreneur. Don't work in your business, work on it. Yep.
So, the properties you're purchasing, are you doing that through a limited company?
Yes, that's right. So I set up a limited company prematurely, actually. I took advice from one of my mentors at the time, Rick Gannon, and he was like, it depends on how big you want to get, and I wanted to get big. I wanted to be wealthy, and I set up a limited company to protect myself. So we're taxed currently at 20%, and the government chancellor is reducing it. I think he's talking about 17%, isn't he? Which is great, because I don't want to be taxed at 40%. And this is why the rich get rich, I believe, because even these corporate jobs, I mean, as a police officer, if you progress, you're going to get taxed at 40%, maybe 45% if you go over that threshold. So in actual fact, if you start to have that blanket of protection of corporation, you're going to get taxed much differently, and you get incentives, expenses, etc. It just makes sense, but you don't have to do it from the start. Okay, we just did it probably naive at the time, but I'm glad we did it now going forward. And buying properties now, we're actually buying the 3rd JV property in a limited company due to the changes. Any more? Good stuff. Okay, well, thanks for having me, and I wish you all the best and success in the future.